Hello, I am Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about the new Heroine buffs that are coming to Japan. So, in Japan, there is the 6-year anniversary celebration happening, so we don't necessarily gain all the perks and benefits that the Japanese server does for their anniversary. Sometimes we get something different. However, for the Heroine cards, we are most likely going to get these at least because that's something we've had before, so I don't see any reason why we're not going to. So for this first impressions video, I'm going to be utilizing Pad X as well as some information that's handy on the side from the Pad X Discord server. I'll link both of those in the YouTube description down below. So the Heroine machine is a 10-stone event where you basically spend 10 stones and you get at least a gold egg at the minimum. And for the most part, these cards are quite powerful, and they are introducing 3 new cards as well as giving their super awakenings for all the original cards, which also means they can be limit broken. So I'll explain those in a bit, but I'm going to look at the new cards first. So the first new card is Lunaris, and this is a 5-star card. They've got heavy orb enhances, and they have this new awakening, which we do not have yet. It's the L boost awakening. So basically the idea is when you match orbs in an L formation, it could be like any orientation you want, but as long as it's 5 orbs, you gain bonus damage for that individual card. So Lunaris is going to be gaining significant boost to her own damage. However, this has beautiful synergy with 5 orb 1 enhanced teams. So the biggest drawback of 5 orb 1 enhanced teams at this point in time is both a lack of viable leaders as well as the possibility of not enough damage. And this is partially because A, the leaders are not so great, so the multiplier is lower, but B, it's because you can't really capitalize on 7 combo awakenings that well. If you match 5 orbs on a 6x5 board, you may or may not necessarily have enough orbs to actually make 7 combos. So because you're hitting usually 6 or so on average, your damage can be a little lackluster if you don't get that Skyfall. But with these L-shaped awakenings, you can definitely propel your damage output for your cards. And I feel that over time, hopefully we'll get more strong 5 orb 1 enhanced leaders, as well as more cards having this L-shaped awakening, which enables basically that individual monster to deal bonus damage. It's kind of like the 7 combo awakening equivalent for 5 orb 1 enhanced leaders, but except it's going to be much more reliable because you can always trigger it when you're basically matching your requirements. So for Lunaris, unfortunately, her leader skill is not that amazing. It exists, but it's not meaningful. Her active skill is changes fire and light orbs to wood, so a double orb changer is nice, and then increase orb movement time by 1.5. Not so great, but this is a pretty standard 8-turn cooldown for a double orb changer. So being able to provide a time buff is nice for overriding time debuffs, but for the most part, you shouldn't need the extra time extends. So overall, I think this card is kind of nice. The artwork's pretty, Pancake thinks it's pretty, but it's not going to be as meaningful overall. The next is Erica, and Erica I think is quite an exciting card. Her active skill is delay enemies for 2 turns and then changes all orbs to wood, light, dark, and heal. So 4 elemental board changers are actually not too bad at this point in time because as long as they make hard orbs, you're able to at least make a large amount of combos and basically sweep a floor while healing. So having a delay and a board changer all in the same time is actually not terrible because oftentimes you're going to at least get benefit from one of those 2 components. So you can delay dangerous spawns, you can create a board that can heal, deal damage, as well as possibly even fall of attack. So as a leader, they have, I'm going to be looking at my phone for Pad Guide at the same time because quick math is hard. She has the ability to deal 100 times damage with 2.25 times recovery and 43.75% damage reduction. So this is actually quite a powerful leader skill because that damage reduction is basically giving you that effective health multiplier, and the only drawback is that your damage multiplier, or damage mitigation as well as damage boost, comes from matching wood, light, and dark orbs at the same time. So basically whenever you get damage reduction, you're dealing damage and sweeping the floor. So stalling is not so viable, to be honest, because if you don't match your 3 colors required for activation, you just have no damage reduction. You can always heal, which is actually very important, but the problem is you're not going to be able to stall that efficiently. So you basically have to pray you have a nice board every turn, but in that same train of thought, you should be max comboing a board anyway. So statistically, you should hopefully have at least 3 of those 3 colors available to at least deal damage. So I think she can be quite meaningful, especially when she has double 7 combo awakenings on herself. So when both your leaders have double 7 combo awakenings, it's much easier to obviously squeeze in subs that have this ideal awakenings. And Because of that, your damage output's actually be a lot higher than 100 times in actuality. So that is quite meaningful. And furthermore, she has attacker and healer killer awakenings. While those two killers are not necessarily the most in demand, it's not a bad thing to have. You're going to be able to deal damage on the odd chance that you're fighting those particular spawns while having massive consistent damage output from your 7 combo awakenings. So I think this is quite a powerful card. It will probably be used reasonably often as a leader or even as a sub because, again, a board changer with a delay with double 7 combo is very desirable at this point in time. And now we come to the 7-star. So Planar is a 7-star card, and they actually have a split evolution form, kind of like how Ilmina works. You have 2 distinct evolutions, but you share the same base active skill, but you have different leader skills and different awakenings. So their active skill is +3 combos for 1 turn and changes all orbs to fire, dark, and heal. So this is a fantastic board changer. We love tri-elemental board changers with hard orbs. Furthermore, the 3 combos at least has some merit because you are actually gaining a board changer alongside. Because Morrigu, who is a 6-star God of Fez exclusive, is actually getting buffed to compensate for how lackluster they were. They go from 18 to 16 turns, but they're only a +3 combo count active skill. Planar is the same +3 combos with a desirable board changer at the same time. So Planar is superior basically in every way, shape, and form. Like, this is a board changer you definitely would actually run potentially on a team. So in their first form, like, they are a row-oriented team. And a row-oriented team, like, rows are very hard to truly justify at this point in time because they're just not as effective overall because you're basically taking up a lot of orb space on your board to make the row. So you are orb hungry, you lower your combo count at the same time. And their leader skill does have 196 damage potential, which is quite strong. But unfortunately, your damage reduction component, which is actually quite high at 68%, only occurs when you match 2 heal combos. So when you're trying to stall, usually like you match heal orbs every now and then, but you kind of space it out. But then the problem is you're going to have to match 2 heal combos to get the massive damage reduction. So stalling is kind of almost counterintuitive in a way. It's kind of weird. But the biggest problem is that you're going to have to match 6+ connected fire and dark orbs and 2 heal combos at the same time to deal your maximum multiplier. And then even then, 196 times is not that incredible. It's still good, but the amount of effort you actually have to achieve is quite high. But on the flip side, her other evolution form is much more exciting and, in my opinion, much more powerful. So her other evolution form trades out the super skill boost awakening and the super time extend, but does get rid of the row awakenings, but instead you gain a 7 combo and a follow-up attack. So you have actually a bit more time extend here. You have 1 less skill boost, same active skill, but your leader skill is now basically you get 2.5 times damage, is not that meaningful, but you gain massive recovery when you match 6 or more combos. So any given board, you should always have 6 or more combos unless something terrible has occurred. So you are going to be able to tap into that massive healing potential. So basically you can always full heal from any attack. That's very important. But then you also gain 3 times damage per fire or dark cross that is matched. So hitting 6 or more combos with multiple crosses can be a little cumbersome or problematic, but for the most part, you only need maybe, I'd say, 2 crosses is definitely a sweep most content. 3 is basically overkill at this point in time, and with 2 crosses, you have 9 plus 9 times 2.5. Like, you have very high damage with 2 crosses. Even 1 cross is not terrible. Like, you are dealing meaningful damage even with 1 cross. So 2 crosses with 6 combos is very doable from most boards. Plus, you actually can tap into Skyfalls. Something like Roshana has massive damage output as well, but the no Skyfall clause can be problematic because you can't trigger into that 7th combo, or it's just a little harder to maximize your board overall. So Planar is definitely going to make a big splash overall, I feel. Plus, she comes with built-in follow-up attack, and she has bind immunity. So she's solving a lot of problems for your team, and that powerful active skill is actually going to be meaningful because if you're running 7 combo awakening subs, which you probably would be, you are going to be able to deal spectacular amounts of damage against the final boss, because what you could do is just simply match 3 color crosses, don't even bother for any combos, and then the +3 combo count will push you into that 6+ combo count. Obviously, hitting 7 or more combos is overkill at this point, but you can also benefit from Skyfalls, unlike Roshana. So I would love to roll her, but knowing my luck, it's probably not going to happen. I'm going to guesstimate the rolling rates are about 2% or so if we look at how Monster Hunter was distributed. So with all that being said, all the heroine cards outside of these 3 new ones are actually going to be gaining a significant buff because they are going to be gaining access to those super awakenings. So super awakenings are awakenings that you basically unlock by sacrificing a 297. So the way it works is you sacrifice a 297 and you get one of those 3 Super Awakenings at random. So there's a bit of gambling involved here. You're obviously going to try and min-max for the particular Super Awakening that you really want to gain. So some cards have much stronger Super Awakenings compared to others, but another thing you have to keep in mind is that these only take effect in solo mode. So this is definitely a great step in the right direction, because if we can get stamina costs to be the same in solo mode as co-op, solo mode would be much more viable, and I wouldn't have to lug around 2 devices all the time to be efficient. But with these Super Awakenings, we're going to pull up my phone so we can look at Pad Guide at the same time. Resolution may not be the greatest, but we can kind of get an idea of how each card looks like. So Ilmina has split form like planar, and you are going to be gaining access to 3 different Super Awakenings. So if I scroll down here, very handy app, you can have full bind immunity, or you can have the box awakening, or you can have the L-shaped attack. So for the most part, the L-shaped attack is just going to be ignored, because you're basically making Ilmina now a pixel, or giving her full bind immunity. So full bind immunity, debatable. It definitely can be useful, but in my opinion, I feel like the box awakening is going to be the strongest, because this one here has 7 combo awakenings, so you are getting meaningful damage, but her other evolution form has 3 natural killers: Attacker, God, and Dragon. And she's also able to equip, does it show on Pad Guide here? She can also equip extra God Killer latents, as well as, actually I pull it up here, God, Devil, and Physical. So if you stack on more God Killers with the latents, you're able to deal massive amounts of damage while having the box awakening. So Illuminati now can basically just penetrate and one-shot through things. And this actually has beautiful synergy with their active skill, because their active skill makes a board of fire and light orbs. So you're going to get those those boxes easily formed. So this is going to make Illuminati very desirable and very powerful. It's going to be a lot more used because, yes, Ilmina is very powerful, but now with the box awakening, it's kind of taking them to the next level. Greta is a farmable monster, and why not? We get a farmable monster of God Killer. It also has Ilmina's base. Is it Ilmina's skill up? Sure, why not? Not terrible. We're going to transition into Melissa. Oh gosh, I don't remember what all the icons look like. We're going to go to Elganubi, because I will figure that out later. But Melissa gets a God Killer, which is okay. TPA is not very meaningful at this point in time. And no, Greta was the... No, wait, Greta was a different card. Greta's a farmable card with Grizzard active, so that's actually not bad, but not used anymore. Melissa is the skill up material for Ilmina. Again, not so great. I guess farmable God Killer is not a terrible thing. But now we have Elganubi. So Elganubi is basically red as Shamali, but she does gain access to these interesting Super Awakenings. So she does have Resist Clouds, so those cloud attacks that are kind of annoying but still manageable, you can block them. Sure, why not? Enhanced HP, enhanced damage when health is above 80%. So Elganubi can gain a personal damage boost when you're above 80% health. Sure, cool. It's okay, it's not bad. Or you can get L-shaped attack. So L-shaped attack, again, has synergy with the 5 or 1 enhanced leaders, but unfortunately, not such a great leader. Don't really have that great of a 5 or 1 enhanced fire leader at this point in time, so it's going to be really hard to capitalize. So Elganubi, sure, they're great, but we're really just waiting for a better 5 or 1 enhanced leader. Now we will transition into Mary. So I personally think Mary is great. I've used Mary for so much content, but she's become a little more outdated, so to speak, because as an endgame leader, rows are struggling at this point in time. Farming leaders, we do have Glavenus Hunter as a farmable option, so it's just like a little more inaccessible by comparison. And unfortunately, her Super Awakenings are not even that meaningful. She gains, again, the Resist Clouds, but Clouds not so meaningful. If you're button farming anyways, you don't care about Clouds. Bonus damage and above 80%. You're probably doing enough damage already anyways. Maybe as a traditional leader, it does help provide a little bit more damage, but then again, you might lose some form of damage control because she might be hitting too hard compared to other subs, so that can be a little problematic. And then Resist Board Restricts. So the Resist Board Restricts are like the kind of those tape-like awakenings. So you see those in Kepri and Azul, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Basically, you can't interact with those orbs. You can't move through those sections. You can match them still by connecting orbs, but you can't move through them. I guess it can be nice, but it's so situational when we actually need to utilize that awakening. So Mary kind of comes up short from their Super Awakenings. However, Romea gains one of the best Super Awakenings possible. So she already comes naturally with a 7 combo and a Dragon Kill, as well as all those wonderful time extends. She's actually a reasonably popular sub for the most part, but when we look at her Super Awakening, she can get 7 combo, Dragon Killer, or L-shaped attack, We're going to pretend L-shaped attack does not exist because 7 combo awakening is by far the best choice. So yes, you may be tempted, ooh, I can get 2 dragon killers and I get more damage. But the thing is, you're restricting your damage boost to only dragon type spawns. If you give her 7 combo awakening, you're gaining damage against every single spawn. So now she will be dealing with double 7 combo, 4 times damage unconditionally to any spawn. If you're a dragon, you're going to get hit for 12 times damage. It's just going to be a bad day if you're a dragon. So Romia is actually going to be one of the more desirable cards overall because, again, 4 times damage is unconditional, and that dragon killer is going to allow her to deal very meaningful amounts of damage against dragon spawns. So Romia is going to be quite an exciting card to actually have because of these super awakenings. One of the best ones overall. Navi. Let's go to Navi. Where is Navi? So Navi already has 4 Skillbind Resist Awakenings. So 4 Skillbind Resist Awakenings is pretty cool, but there is a farmable option with 5. So her need has kind of like diminished, so to speak. She does have a pretty lackluster board changer. It's light Cali, or it's basically a light Cali style board changer with haste. Not so great because no hard orbs are actually manufactured. So with her awakening, she is actually able to gain a second 7 combo awakening. And that's very important because double 7 combo awakening, like I said, is 4 times damage unconditionally. So she can actually start functioning as a meaningful sub on a lot of teams. Is she going to be your first choice? Maybe not necessarily, because those Skillbind Resists are kind of overkill at that point in time. But again, a double 7 combo is nice. Yes, team health can be helpful, but 7 combo is better for the most part. Sure, guard break is nice, but again, we have probably more than enough damage anyways to punch through high defense spawns anyways. So I would probably just go with the 7 combo awakening. Next, we have Barbara. So Barbara has been kind of just, she's almost been like a neglected child. Like, she has potential, but she does not have a good sub pool to draw from. She's kind of awkward to use as a sub. And giving her more TPAs as Super Awakenings is not that meaningful, but it's really just the extra Machine Killer I feel it's going to see the most value and usage, because with those extra Machine Killer Awakenings, she's dealing 9 times damage to Machine type spawns. She is red, so it does have meaning on, say, like Lavinus Hunter farming teams, because she does spawn a board of red and dark, so there is some meaning there. So like, it's not a terrible option, but it's hard to utilize her well overall. So Barbara is just kind of lackluster still for the most part. Kuvia. So Kuvia is a very TPA heavy card naturally, and she gains an extra TPA from her Super Awakenings. In terms of her other Super Awakenings, she has enhanced team recovery, so that can be nice situationally. L-shaped damage reduction. So basically, if you match 5 hard orbs in an L shape, you get some damage reduction. Sure, but I'd feel for the most part, more TPAs are going to do more damage because you already have 4, you'll gain 5 TPAs. Kind of comical, but again, TPA teams are not that popular at this point in time because 7 combo generally outclasses them for the most part. Shiva Dragon, I don't know when were last relevant. So now we come to Mel. So Mel used to be kind of like, oh hell no, you don't want to roll a Mel, but now Mel is kind of like, ooh, Mel is actually quite meaningful. So Mel has 6 enhanced Heal Orb Awakenings. That is truly ridiculous. And before it was comical because it really didn't do much. But now, lots of enhanced Heal Orb Awakenings provides a massive boost to recovery, because when you match hearts in a TPA form, so 4 connected heart orbs, you're going to be receiving a massive healing boost. So if Mel is on your team and you match 4 heart orbs, you're going to be receiving a massive healing boost overall. And that's huge because when you're playing teams like, say, Roshana, you are going to be using a team with massive amounts of health but no actual recovery multiplier. So something like this basically can stick on your team and you gain that huge healing potential to basically restore that 100,000 plus health pool you have. In terms of her Super Awakening, she actually does get quite powerful. The L-shaped damage reduction is going to be kind of like, well, you're probably going to be wanting to match most hard orbs in the TPA formation anyway, so it's not going to be used as much. And again, you'd be using Mel on teams of massive amounts of health, so the damage reduction is not that necessary. TPA, we've already explained TPA is not that powerful, but we now get Fall of Attack. So again, depending on the type of team you are playing, the Fall of Attack can be meaningful, but the best part is Mel's base active skill generates you a column of Heart Orbs. So now Mel on your team is going to generate the column of Heart Orbs and do the Fall of Attack at the exact same time. Quite meaningful for the most part. So Mel is definitely not as bad as she used to be. Now we come to Mito. So Mito was the best devil killing option at one point in time. Unfortunately, Chazelle from the Dragonbound Dragon Caller event is just better because 3 TPA, 3 double killers for the most part is better than 2, because 9 versus 27 times is really hard to compete. Yes, Mito is bind immune, but they both have short base active skills, so it's kind of like, who do you really want to use? I would probably be using Chazelle for the most part. So now we gotta think, can these Super Awakenings kind of help her out? So again, we're using Mitos or Chazelle's generally for niche farming potential, so the L-shaped damage reduction is probably not going to be utilized that often. The enhanced damage when above 80% can be meaningful for sure, because that at least helps kind of close the gap, so to speak, between Chazelle and Mito's damage potential, because you're probably going to be at full health, so this damage can be meaningful, that burst. Enhanced Team RCV, situational for the most part. I'm not quite sure where you would need to use that. Like, you probably have more than enough recovery, or you're playing through specific content where you have more than enough. You're not planning to take damage and stall and heal up anyway. So I feel that enhanced damage when health is above 80% is probably going to be her stronger Super Awakening. Now we come to Momaji. So Momaji is actually a reasonably well used sub because it's a light card with follow-up attack. So if you lack Paimon and you're playing Yogg, or you lack Sari as well, Momaji is not a bad option to actually utilize. So again, TP is kind of problematic, like I mentioned before, but her Super Awakenings give the L-shaped attack. So if you match 5 orbs there, you get bonus damage, but again, 5 orb 1 enhanced teams are not used for Mito. Whoa, shoot. Did my computer just turn off? Am I here still? Yes, I am. That was disturbing because I guess I didn't touch my mouse for a while. Okay, we're still here. And L-shaped attack, it's not really going to be that meaningful for the most part. And then L-shaped damage reduction, well, L-shaped damage reduction probably is going to have more meaning for these types of teams because wherever you are utilizing her on, like against most likely, say, Yogg teams, it doesn't hurt to have extra damage reduction. So I probably feel that the damage reduction is going to be her more meaningful Super Awakening because the extra attack damage on herself is not really that meaningful. And now we come to Sheena. So Sheena is a card I've actually been using quite often on my Anubis Diablos teams, especially playing through machine-heavy content, because A, she has 7 combo awakenings, so that does help provide damage, and B, with that machine killer and the 7 combo, she's dealing very meaningful amounts of damage, along with having a very favorable base active skill of a bi-elemental board of light and dark orbs. So her Super Awakenings are resisting the strip style attacks. So again, those Khepri style board restrictions get potentially blocked. She also gets the Box Awakening. So we really just care about the Box Awakening in all honesty because, well, sorry, she has 7. She gets actually an extra 7 combo and Box Awakening. So both are incredibly powerful, I should say, because extra 7 combo means she's dealing 4 times damage. Again, with those machine and physical killers doing even more spectacular damage against those spawns. But then we gain access to the Box Awakening. So you have a Box Awakening with machine killers, with physical killers, with a 7 combo awakening. So for niche situations, if you don't have a pixel, the Box Awakening is probably going to be by far your best bet on Sheena because, well, you are able now to punch through with the extra damage from 7 combo and the extra damage from the box and the other killers alongside of it. So Sheena is going to be a very desirable card, and I have a couple of them, and I probably would use some of them with 7 combo, and some of them, another one with Box Awakening, so I can choose based on the situation. Like, if you have duplicate Sheenas, this is going to be actually a good way to use it. Make 1 7 combo, 1 Box Awakening, and mix and match based on the dungeon at hand. If you're playing through a dungeon of no damage void bosses, take the 7 combo. If you have damage void, take the take the Box Awakening. So Sheena is something I'm actually quite excited about. And I do have a couple, so I'm excited to utilize them. And she can also equip those tasty machine killers on top of it, so she can do even more damage to machine spawns. And now we come to Uruka. So Uruka has 2 different evolutions, changes colors, changes awakening slightly. But her Super Awakenings are quite powerful. She does gain skill charge. So her base active skill is a Fujin style active skill with a Dark Kali board at the exact same time. So if you use skill charge, you're going to be able to charge her up very quickly and very efficiently, so that can be meaningful. However, she also can gain a 7 combo awakening. So 7 combo awakening does help propel her damage up significantly higher, and that can be quite powerful. Let me just go to the other version so you can see. Was this the same one? Did I just press the same one? Blue. There we go, the blue one. There, that's what I was trying to find the first time. Because the blue one I know has double 7 combo awakenings. So with 2 7 combo awakenings as your super awakening, you're going to be dealing 4 times damage. Skill charge, sure, you can charge up things faster, but now you have an incredibly hard-hitting sub with a meaningful active skill. So I feel that 7 combo will probably trump most scenarios. Skill charge can be useful in niche situations, but I feel like 7 combo is going to be her best aspect overall. And then now we come to Julie. So Julie is actually still a reasonably powerful leader, mostly because she can capitalize on her 3 different killer awakenings, Attacker, Dragon, and God. And her super awakenings are quite meaningful. She does gain full bind immunity, and that does solve one of her biggest problems. She was vulnerable to binds. Now you're fully bind immune. L-shaped damage reduction, not quite as meaningful overall because you do have damage reduction anyways. You do have a health multiplier, so you should be able to tank most hits. The bonus team recovery can be reasonable if you're having tough time healing back up, but for the most part, I feel that full bind immunity is going to be her best aspect because, well, not being bound means you don't have to run bind clearing subs. You save a sub slot, and you're going to have a much better time overall. So, looking at the super awakenings, Ilmina definitely gets one of the best ones. Romy is another amazing one. Mel does gain more viability overall. Mamaji is okay. Sheena is great. Urika is great. Julia is great. So a lot of these heroine cards are getting these very meaningful buffs. But of course, you need to sacrifice a 297 each time, and the super awakening you do get is random. So you need to start saving up your 297s if you want to actually utilize these super awakenings if you are playing in solo mode. Now, with all that being said, when we've looked at how the extra latent slot Tamadra has been changed and heavily modified, sacrificing a 297 for a super awakening may or may not change in the future. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did get changed in some way, shape, or form. So let me know what you think about the Heroine collab in the comments below. Do you think it's worth rolling now more than ever? Would you plan to save up stones? Because we should be getting this. We may not necessarily get all the other anniversary things that Japan is getting, but we will definitely get the Heroine collab overall. So hopefully you all have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best of luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.